I never imagined that my life would be pulled into the shadowy depths of something as secretive and forbidden as Project Blue Book. For years, whispers about UFOs, hidden files, and government cover-ups swirled in the background of late-night radio shows and dusty conspiracy books, but to me, they were just that, stories. I was a simple woman, a researcher of psychology and human perception, fascinated by why people believe in the extraordinary. Yet fate has a peculiar way of dragging skeptics like me directly into the very mysteries we dismiss. It all started with an assignment I had taken at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. I had been recruited as a civilian consultant, not for UFOs, but for studying patterns in public hysteria. The Air Force had once launched a program in the late 1940s called Project Sign, which evolved into Project Grudge and eventually into the better-known Project Blue Book. Its goal was officially to investigate UFO sightings and determine whether they posed a threat to national security. Unofficially, it became a carefully controlled operation to discredit, explain away, and bury any evidence that hinted at life beyond Earth. At least, that's what I was told. The officer who briefed me, Major Donald Kehoe, was a stern man who carried the weight of secrecy in his eyes. He told me plainly, "Miss Claire Evans, you're not here to solve mysteries. You're here to help us understand why people believe in them." His words felt clinical, but there was an unspoken undercurrent, a hint that not everything was as simple as statistics and psychology. My first real encounter with the project came when I was handed a stack of case files. Each report was detailed, filled with sketches, witness accounts, radar logs, and, in some cases, photographs. Some were laughably easy to dismiss, weather balloons, aircraft flares, even reflections from Venus. But others had details that chilled me. Pilots describing metallic discs moving at impossible speeds. Farmers encountering glowing objects landing in their fields. Entire families reporting silent craft hovering above their homes, leaving behind strange radiation burns on the ground. At first, I rationalized it all, neatly categorizing each event in the tidy boxes of misperception, hysteria, or hoax. That's what they wanted from me, after all. But then came the night in 1952 when Washington, D.C. itself became a theater of the unexplained. Radar operators tracked unknown objects darting through restricted airspace over the Capitol. Jet fighters were scrambled, but the objects outmaneuvered them with ease, accelerating and vanishing like ghosts. It was chaos, a story splashed across newspapers worldwide. I was called in to help draft a psychological explanation that mass hysteria had fueled exaggerated claims, that radar blips were malfunctions, that nothing real had happened. But inside the base, I saw the truth. The recordings from radar were authentic. The pilots were shaken. The top brass were terrified. Yet, the official story released to the public was carefully rewritten, stripped of all reality. That was the moment I realized Project Blue Book wasn't about uncovering the truth. It was about burying it. I should have walked away. But curiosity is a dangerous companion. I started digging deeper into classified files I wasn't supposed to see. That's when I found references to something called Majestic 12, a supposed committee formed by President Truman himself to handle extraterrestrial matters. The deeper I went, the more fragmented documents I uncovered, redacted reports, secret memos, and strange photographs that looked too detailed to be fabrications. Then came my personal encounter. The night that changed everything. I was driving back from the base, the Ohio sky wide and dark, when I noticed a light following me. At first, I thought it was another car far behind, but it wasn't on the road. It floated above the tree line, glowing softly, moving with me. My heart pounded as I pulled over. The light descended, revealing itself not as a star, not as a plane, but as a silent craft, metallic and smooth, unlike anything I had seen before. It hovered, pulsating with a strange energy that made my skin prickle. And then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, it shot upward into the heavens and vanished. When I returned to the base the next day, shaken and pale, I debated whether to report it. But before I could, two men in black suits intercepted me. They weren't Air Force, at least not in uniform. One leaned close and said in a low voice, "You saw nothing, Miss Evans. Forget last night if you value your career and your life." The weight of his words was enough to silence me, but inside, a war had begun. From that day forward, I no longer believed Project Blue Book was harmless. I realized the cover-up wasn't just about calming the public. It was about controlling access to knowledge that could change humanity forever. If we weren't alone, if intelligent life had already visited Earth, then history, religion, science, all of it would be rewritten. And those in power weren't ready for that. Still, I couldn't let go. My nights became consumed with searching for witnesses, meeting secretly with farmers, pilots, and even former military men who claimed to have seen what the government wanted buried. Their stories aligned eerily with mine. One man described being ordered to load strange wreckage from Roswell, New Mexico, into crates. Another spoke of biological specimens kept in cold storage. The accounts were consistent, chilling, and undeniable. The more I uncovered, the more I realized my own life was at risk. My phone clicks suggested it was tapped. Strange cars idled outside my home. And yet, a part of me felt compelled to keep going, to document, to preserve the truth before it could vanish completely. In 1969, Project Blue Book was officially shut down. The government announced there was nothing to UFOs, nothing unexplained, nothing worth pursuing. But I knew better. I had seen the files. I had seen the sky. I had seen the fear in the eyes of men sworn to protect secrets bigger than themselves. Now, years later, I write these words not as a confession, but as a warning. The truth is not buried in distant galaxies. It is here, under lock and key, waiting for the right moment to resurface. They want you to believe UFOs are just imagination. They want you to sleep peacefully under a false sky. But once you see, once you know, you can never go back. I am Claire Evans, once a skeptic, now a witness. And I know for certain, Project Blue Book never really ended. It only went deeper underground.